Hey folks, we are continuing on with the solutions for the review. This is going to be page 6 and 7 on that review handout. So for this one, we have a polygon and we need to count how many sides or angles there are. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 sides, 8 angles. So we know that the sum of the angles is 180 times n minus 2. So I'm going to do 180 times 6. Actually, I'll show that step. I'll do 8 minus 2 just to show I'm using my n equals 8. So 180 times 6 is 1080. So that means the total angles 1080. The total of all of the angles inside here adds up to 1080. So if I make an equation here, and this is the sum of interior angles, that tells me that. So if I make an equation here, I'm just going to go around in this shape. I've got x plus 135 plus 170 plus 110. I have a lot of numbers to add up here. Plus 120 plus, I'm going to go down here, plus 125 plus 175 plus 85 equals 1080 degrees. So if I add up all of those other angles, 135 plus 170 plus 110 plus 120 plus 125 plus 175 plus 85, I get 920 degrees equals 1080 degrees. So x would equal 1080 minus 920, which is 160 degrees. The next one with polygons is fairly similar, but we actually are missing 3 different variables in 3 different angles inside this polygon. So I'm going to have to do some other work to find x and y before I can use the interior angles of a polygon to find z. So my first step, I'm just going to say x equals 120 degrees because that's opposite angles. I know that this 120 and the x are the same thing because they're opposite. Then I'm going to look at the y and I see I have supplementary angles there. So I would say y plus 75 equals 180 because they're supplementary. So y equals 180 minus 75, y equals 105 degrees. So once I know those, so I know this is 120 and this is 105, then I can figure out the sum of all of the interior angles. So this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So n equals 6. The sum is 180 times n minus 2. And my n is 6. So it's 180 times 6 minus 2, or 180 times 4, which is 720 degrees. So all of the angles in here add up to 720 degrees. Now I'm going to make an equation for z. I know that z plus 145 plus 105, which was my y, plus 120, which was my x, plus 160 plus 115 equals 720 degrees. Notice how I kind of went around in order. Just be really careful, double check you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 angles, that you didn't miss any. So when I add up all of those numbers, I get 645. So Z plus 645 degrees equals 720 degrees. So Z equals 720 minus 645, which gives me 75 degrees for Z. Now this is one where it's a regular polygon, and I'm going to do the sum of the inside angles. So my n is 6 because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 angles. So my sum is 180, this is the same as the last one, times n minus 2. So 180 times 6 minus 2, which is 4. So my sum is 720 degrees. And that was the sum of interior angles. That's the rule that I used. And if we know that this is a regular polygon, all of those sides are the same, I know that 6x equals 720. You could write out x plus x plus x 6 times, but we don't need to. And then I can divide that by 6. So we would end up with x equals 120 degrees. This one is kind of similar, but I'm going to use the exterior angles. We know that in any polygon, the exterior angles add to 360. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I would know that 5 x's would equal 360. So I just have to divide both sides by 5, and I get x equals 72 degrees. The last one, we are told the sum. We know this formula, S equals 180 times n minus 2. So we know the sum is 3,240, and what we want to find is n. So we're going to use our solving equation skills and put in 3,240 equals 180 times n minus 2. 3,240 equals 180n minus 360. Remember the distributive property where you multiply that into the brackets. Now I'm going to bring over that 360 and make it plus. So 3,240 plus 360 equals 180n. And then this is 3,600 is 180n, and then I divide by 180, and here I get n equals 20. We should write a therefore statement. Therefore, the polygon has 20 sides. And that's it for page 6 and 7.